Welcome, everyone, once again to Awake Nigeria, where we connect the missing dots in the issue at stake of nations. Because we're focusing on the nation Nigeria, that is not to say the program is only for Nigeria. Every principle we share here, it's applicable to any nation anywhere in the world. As I travel around the world, I come to realize that people are people. People have a lot of many things in common. And when it comes to behavior, people are just people. And and wherever you have people, you have nations, and God is God. And the Bible says He's a God of individuals. He's a God in charge of the affairs of men and nations. So every principle we share here is applicable to many other nations. I would say all other nations. Some peculiarities will just be to Nigeria. I want to say once again, Happy New Year. It's February. And so I would say New Year, New Hope as a topic for us today. New Year, New Hope. I will want to start by defining hope. It could be taken for granted that we know what hope is. So I will just start from the Hebrew and Greek definition of hope, or how they see hope. In the Hebrew and Greek language, without bugging you much with terminologies, it connotes expectation with confidence. Hope connotes or refers to expectation with confidence. And in English, English is milder. It says a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. A feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. It didn't define what that certain thing is. So if we put the two together, I would like to define hope as confident expectation of what God has promised based on His faithfulness. You will notice this is more of biblical hope. But I want to believe that in our nation today, and nations all around the world, it's high time we cue in and we pay more attention to God. Because over centuries, over human history, we have come to realize that humanity without God stand the risk of self-destructing or self-destruct. We can discuss that at another day. But what I'm saying actually is that regardless of your religion, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim or any probably Hindu or any other religion we adhere to or we subscribe to, God is the central factor. And then it's high time that humanity pay more attention to God. And as we pay more attention to God, we begin to get to know the nature of God, the character of God, and seek insight as to how to be like Him. So as we continue today on the topic, New Year, New Hope, I want to say to nations around the world, especially nation of Nigeria, we can't just afford to lose hope. It's a new year. Last time we spoke about New Year, New Vision. We spoke about reset button. Every new year, every milestone in a man's life gives him or her opportunity to reset, to start again, to redo things. So I want to believe in this new year. Apart from the fact that we should have new vision, we should have new hope. And that is the emphasis of the podcast today. We have looked at the definition of hope. And then, we want to just look at the benefits of hope. Simply put, there are so many benefits. Hopes give a person a reason to keep going. You can't stop. Life cannot stop. The fact that you had a bad day yesterday does not mean you have to stop living today. No. Today is another day. Keep going. And once there is hope, hope drives you. One of the benefits of hope is it gives you a reason to move on. It's the same thing in Christian faith. It's the same thing in Christian walk. It's the same thing with general life. Hope improves mental well-being. When people are hopeless, they don't even want to make effort. And I know many people are situations in many nations. It's like hopeless at this time, especially in the nation Nigeria. The exchange rate right now is $1 to over 1,000 naira. It never happened. That never happened. It's just out of hand. And I was just watching a clip not too long ago. Somebody was actually weeping that what is this? They removed fuel subsidy. They did not realize without making any preparation for the impact of it. And every other angles of the economy will take undue advantage of that. Only God can redeem the naira right now. And if things continue like that, it could make people just lose confidence and just lose hope. But you cannot just afford to lose hope, because if you lose hope, you become hopeless, you become depressed. When you are depressed, you lose energy, you are short of energy. Things you are supposed to do, you cannot then do it. And then your immune system begins to break down. That is to say, hope even affects you psychologically and physiologically. So hope helps the immune system as it reduces levels of stress. When the economy is bad and there is a lot of insecurity and a lot of instability, people are under high stress. So what do you need? Hope. Hope reduces stress in this situation, and it increases self-worth, self-belief, and it boosts your confidence. It encourages you to take positive action. So you cannot just afford to lose hope, regardless of how the situation is. New year, new hope. I was checking out the summary of Obama's book, the book titled "Audacity of Hope," and then in that book, he laid out the ideas that will three main points that actually will help in any society, especially in the political arena. And he was saying that in spite of political differences, people, then referring to Americans, but that is applicable to any other nation, people share a core belief in community, in freedom. And then that's number one. Number two, politicians should not just be accountable to maybe their sponsors, their godfather. Rather, they should be accountable and serve their constituencies. These are very important, and these are what gives people hope in governance, hope in the leaders, and it wants to make and people wants to make effort to see that they make their nation and society work. Having said that, I would just want to go to the Bible, Hebrews chapter 6. I found certain principles there, so we'll be using the Bible today as a background text. I saw certain factors there that is very important to make our hope sure. That is, that which we hope for. We hope for the best. That is it. We hope that our nation will improve. We hope that the politicians will be more responsible, and they will even think more and do some more brain work and research, and they put some intentionality into seeing that the nation works. I was listening to someone. They said, well, they have been able to save certain amount of money last year than the previous years. That is good. But it's not, if you want to rescue an economy, it is not only the amount you save, because the amount you save in 1 year is better than, or is more than the one saved in previous year. You don't rescue an economy like that. You got to stop all this unnecessary spending, all the massive embezzlement. You know, the other time they were talking of one senator, I think she was the youngest senator, and a lady. A young girl, okay, we call her a young lady. She's in the 30s or early 40s. You would think we know better. You know, they were putting public funds into private accounts. But she shouted that she did this with the authority of the people, with the permission of the people in authority. And she said, if I'm going down, I'm not going to go down alone. Everyone that is involved in this will go down with me. See, these are the kind of things we are talking about. Things that are unbecoming. We hope in this new year, people will begin to think better and put some intentionality into making a nation work. Part of intentionality to making a nation work is you want to cut down the cost of governance. You want to travel to France, you don't need 60 people, 30 people. No, for what? All these 30 people, everyone will go with his own staff. You see the madness. It's just madness. Nothing more than it. So we just hope that this year people will begin to think and be rational and reasonable. It's gone out of even not irrationality. It's gone into madness. There's things like this should stop, because it doesn't even make any sense at all. When you look at it, some of the things our people do, you know, and I say it cuts across many nations. So what are some of these things I see in Hebrews chapter 6? Hebrews is in the Bible, okay? So we're using the Bible. And then in verse 10, it says, God is not unjust. God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people. Look at that. So, let me put an handle on this. To make our hope sure, coming from the definition, number one, we should be confident and we should be expectant that things will be better this year. So let's not go about life. Let's not approach this year and issues of this year as if things cannot change. Things can change. It takes some people to be intentional to make things change. And that starts from you, that starts from me, that starts from everyone listening, and especially the people in authority. Say, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work. So if your work is bad, you will have bad reward. Some people will say, well, you don't know when that will come. But that will sure come, because God, the Bible says here, God is not unjust. He will not forget. So if you do bad work, you get lashes. Even if you think you escape it, your generation will not, after you will not escape it. But if your work is good, do good work. You will have reward for it. You will have reward for it. Even generations after you will still get to enjoy out of that reward if you do good work. See, God is the ultimate rewarder. So he says he's not unjust. We've talked about God, and he says, you will not forget your work. And the love, another thing, and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people. So when you help your people, these are God's people. We are not talking only about Christians here or Muslims. Everyone, God made us all. So if you help his people, you help the people in your constituency, you help your nation, you assist now. what are you assisting? You serve them. The natural resources, the human resources, all the resources are there. It's just for you to be able to. It's not as if you are manufacturing these resources yourself. These resources are not your father's property. You don't even own it. You are just there to manage it and to allocate it well. That's all you got to do. But still, people to even mess that up. Instead of helping people by assisting them to be the best they could be, so there is employment in the society, so there is people don't have cause to steal, they don't have cause to rob, they don't have cause for criminality, because things are working well for them. Anyone could get a job. Everyone trained could get a job. Even the system is working in such a way that people don't have to become your sycophants before they could live good life. The other time I was in where is that now? In the Scandinavia, Norway, and Norway's prison, they have the best, cleanest prison, yet it was empty. Because people are not committing crime, so they are not going into the prison. And it's the best, the cleanest, most equipped prison in the whole world, yet it's empty. That happens when the society is functioning. I know even here in Toronto, some people, especially in winter, they want to commit some petty crime, so they will go to prison for 2-3 months for the winter time. So that guarantees them shelter for the winter time. In 3 months they'll be out. It will be March or late February, and that's it. Some people purposely do that because they don't want to sleep in the cold. So that is not how society is supposed to be. Right here, even in Canada, we're dealing with a lot. But the thing is that there are strong institutions that put real guard for politicians so they cannot go bazooka like we have in other nations, like some African nations and some other maybe autocratic nations where leaders just go bazooka and with impunity to do wrong and continue like that, and yet they pretend and make face. And some people are so insensitive to know that whatever is fundamentally wrong can never be right. If some people get into the office through dubious means, and you think they will do right thing to the people, at what cost? And eventually, what do you think will happen? Because things are fundamentally wrong. It can never be right. There are no two ways to it. Only righteousness exalts a nation. Sin is a reproach at all times. So God is not only interested in the end, God is interested in the means. Some people say the end justifies the means, as if no matter how you get things done, as long as you get it done. No, God doesn't work like that. Humans may work like that. God is interested in how you get it done. You know what they say in those days when we were growing up in elementary school, there's something we call wuru to the answer. When you don't know a particular mathematics process, at times you know the answer, but you have to understand the process. I had this maths teacher. You have to show how you get to the answer. Even if you get the answer right, he will still mark that question wrong for you. If you don't show the process, you have to show the process, how you arrive at the answer. That is how he's convinced that you know what you're talking about. If not, go back and learn it again. Okay? So it's very important. It says, show you love, verse 10 again, God is not unjust, that he will not forget your work and the love you have shown him. So when you serve people, when you serve the people of God, when you serve people the way you are supposed to serve them, when you make employment available, you make your society and governance work, what you are doing is you are showing God love. It's high time we see it that way, because these are God's people. Then another, in verse 11, another thing we need to do to make our hope sure this year, it says, we want each of you to show the same diligence. So be diligent in doing this. Be diligent. Let everyone that has to go to work be there at your seat when you're supposed to be there. People that have to sign letters to move it forward for approval, do what you're supposed to do. Let the local government officials let them go out and see what is happening in the locality and see what the needs of the people are, and find ways of meeting these needs. These are very important. We can talk of the economy. We can talk of the social aspect of life. We can talk of enforceable laws. The other time I saw on a clip of the Lagos State governor arrested someone who was plying a one lane, so one way or something like that. And the person said, "Oh, I'm a soldier." And he arrested him. I said, because you are a soldier, you're supposed to know better. Oh, the more reason you should be arrested. We should have more of that. And the governor himself should not spare himself too. See, when we don't pretend to be above the law, and we actually do and show it that everyone, including ourselves, that is leaders, are not above the law, you will see people fall in line. This is very important. So diligence in all of these. And then it goes on to say, we do not want you to become lazy. That is verse 12. Hard work. Hard work. Let's work at it. Whatever is it you are doing. If you are a market woman, work at it. If you are you work in the area of transportation, work at it. At work. If you are a protocol officer, see ways to improve your work habit, your work pattern this year. And says, but to imitate those who through faith, let's have faith in our democracy. Let's have faith in the system we run. We know the judiciary will say they mess up at some points, yes. Notwithstanding, they are the only one to interpret the law. So let's have some level of faith in them, and let's have the judiciary too. Let them redeem their image if they have dented it in one form or the other. I forgot the name of the chief judge of the Supreme Court. Oh, no, the name of the judge of the Supreme Court that was retiring last year. And they mentioned some of the anomalies that have existed in the Supreme Court of Nigeria for so long that really give way for that makes it easy for the Supreme Court to be compromised. He said that maybe few months ago. We've not heard anything about it. We've not seen anything done. Let's see this year that every area that needs to be fixed, the judiciary, even the presidency and the legislatures, ordinarily all these jumbo pay makes no sense in a nation that is dying. Something has to be done. Someone needs to bail the cat. This is very important. And then the followers too. Let's stop everything that will not show us as our brother's keeper. Let's begin to have more faith, even in humanity once again. We can have faith in ourselves to do right. Do right. Do unto others as you want others to do unto you. That is a golden rule in any religion. Let's have faith in that. Let's have faith in one another. Let's encourage and spare one another to do good. And lastly, it says in verse 12, said we do not want you to be lazy. I've talked about that, but to imitate those who through faith. So we mentioned faith and patience. Let's be patient. Let's be patient for good things to turn around. especially if it's coming from where it is now, may take some time. So let's be patient. So people, what have we said today? New year, new hope. We define hope, confident expectation of what God has promised. What God has promised our nation is shown in the natural resources, and the human resources is deposited in our nation. It's nothing more than greatness. But how can we make this hope sure this year? Number one, you got to make sure we don't lose confidence. Number two, we have to be expectant. Let's expect that things will change. But number three, we have to work, hard work. Number four, you got to love God and his people, even as you serve them, as we serve one another. The elected officials and the led. Okay? Let's be diligent and not lazy in all that we have to do. And again, let's make sure that we engage faith and we are patient, even as we anticipate the system, things to change around for the better. We are praying. I know many people are praying, but don't just think prayer alone will do it. No. All these things we have mentioned has to kick in. We've been praying for long. Yes. When all these things kick in with prayers, then we will have a society that we will be proud of. Once again, I want to say it has been a wonderful time with you on this episode, Awake Nigeria. Please feel free to send us your comments. Feel free to just give us feedback. And then this is from GOlive TV Channel 1. And the number you could always call or text will be 416-833-9630. God bless you. It is well with you. Bye.